Microphone 1 2 1 2. Let's try. Yes, it works. Cool. Okay, let's go. Bonjour everybody, hope you're doing well. This is Lya Pouleyy, your wellness creative, for Blessing Our Lesson, episode number 3. Hope you're ready for this one. As you know, I'm Lya Pouleyy, your wellness creative. I help you feeling better through arts and craft, dance, modeling, cooking, and so much more creative activities. So today is not a personal story. I picked up one of my friend's stories. She generously accepted me to share her story. It was definitely a lesson. I hope it's gonna talk to you. I hope it's gonna help you because this is a very sensitive and tough situation. But before we start, let me remind you to please subscribe, give some thumbs up if you like the story, share, comment, share with your friends, your family, or any people who can relate to that story, because that's a very, very, very sensitive one. Just thinking about it, I'm having goosebumps and my heart is like pretty heavy about the story. But once again, thanks to my friend to let me sharing her story. Of course, I'm not gonna tell you her real name, but let's call her Gwen. It's definitely not her name, so it works. So I met Gwen a few years ago through dance, and she was actually one of my students. And I love her because she is so special, so kind, so nice, so sensitive, so heartwarming, so patient. She have like so many qualities, like that's just incredible. And what I really love about her is that she really learns from her lessons. She's not the type of person who's like, oh, why this happened to me, what happened? No, she knows that if this or that happens, there is a lesson to take from it, and she works a lot on that. So I really love it. So this is a love story, and my friend is a she met this guy while she was clubbing. This happened a lot, and the guy wasn't her type at all, but that was the time of her life. She felt the need to lower her standards because of people, because unfortunately there are a lot of people out there. They're always like, oh, you have too much expectations, you have like, your standards are way too high, you should lower them, and blah blah blah. And this is how you end up picking up the wrong people in your life, friends or boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever, just because some people, they don't know you, they don't understand you, and they're just telling you that your standards are way too high, and they just don't see the inner work that you're doing on yourself. And that's why you cannot just accept anybody in your life. I've been there, so I can really relate to that. Not about the story, but about the standards. When I was younger, I had like very high standards because I was maintaining myself pretty high. And all the time, people, they were like, oh my God, Lya, your standards are too high. You will never find anybody. Blah, 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 blah. And yes, at the time, I didn't really find anybody because I lowered my standard. And I ended up being with some guys who weren't for me at all, just because I lowered my standards. So please, 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 when people are telling you that you have high expectations, high standards, please do not listen to them. You know better what's for you, Trust your gut, trust your instinct. And I'm not talking about fantasies and dreams like, oh, I want a Denzel Washington or Brad Pitt. No, I'm talking about you work a lot on yourself and you do your best to be the best version of yourself. So of course you cannot, not you cannot, but it's not in your mind to be with someone who has way lower standards. It does make sense, especially for women. So don't let anybody tell you that, because you will go with people who are just not made for you, and you're gonna burn your wings, and it's not gonna be okay. It's gonna be like pretty hurtful. But back to the story. So my friend met this guy, my friend Gwen met this guy at a club. So physically, not her type at all, and mentally, definitely not her type. But as I told you, people, they were like, your standards are too high, you should lower your standards. So she was like, let's start with this guy. It's gonna be a new adventure, a new journey. It's very different from everything that I've known before. Let's see how it goes. So she decided to give him her number. It happens that this guy had a lot of childhood trauma. He wasn't confident on his skin. He didn't like who he was. He didn't like his life. He has a very poor self-esteem. And she thought she was here to help him, to save him. I love saying that. She thought she was his Jesus. That's always the comparison that I do. I compare people who wants to save the others to Jesus, consciously or unconsciously. And so she wanted to be his Jesus, and he wanted her to be his Jesus. So at the very beginning, the relationship was okay. They were getting to know each other. They were trying to find a connection. They were trying to spend as much time as possible together, but he had hard time just being alone. He wanted her around all the time, all the time, and she started to suffocate, of course. And I told you, this man wasn't at the right place. He was healed physically, he was healed mentally, he was broken emotionally. He wasn't okay at all. He was using a lot of drugs. He was drinking a lot. He had a lot of very bad addictions, more than drugs and drinking. And with the time, he started to isolate her, and the relationship started not to be okay, but she was hiding from anyone because she didn't want people to judge her or to start telling her that, you see, there are a few wrong things that are not doing okay, but she just kept it low. And with the time, he was feeling very miserable on his own skin. He just didn't know what well-being was. So he started to be very mentally abusive with my friend, telling her a lot of negativity. He was putting all his sickness, all his traumas, all his fears, all his insecurities on her. He was projecting everything on her, and he was kind of blaming her, make her feel responsible for what happened to him. But she was staying because of feelings, first of all, and she thought that was her job, to help him going through what he was going through and to heal. And then, unfortunately, he started to be physically abusive and violent. So this is where the hell really started. And I'm telling you, it's so easy to judge people who stay when they are physically abused. It's deeper than that. You cannot just say, oh, why didn't she leave? This is not about that. When you are attached emotionally to somebody and you feel responsible for that person, you just don't want to leave the person because you want to understand why is this person going through this or that. And you feel responsible, you feel guilty, and you have the feelings. And at this point, you just lose yourself. it's not about you anymore. You feel that it's not about you. You just feel that it's about the other person. So here is the problem. So if in your circle, in your family, in your friends circle, or even at work, you hear, most of the time it concerns women, but sometimes men, they have to face this type of situation. So if you ever hear somebody that you care about or not, but who is in this type of situation, please, 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 please give them as much support as you can. Don't blame them. Show them that they need to get out of there, but don't be like, oh, why the hell you staying? I don't understand. It is not your job to understand, but you have to make them understanding that they deserve better and they worth better than that. Okay? So back to my story. So she started to be physically and mentally abused by this ex-boyfriend of her. That was very difficult time, of course, and also her physical and mental health started to suffer. Makes sense. So she was like a ghost, you know. She wasn't herself anymore. Her skin wasn't okay, her hair wasn't okay, physically she wasn't okay. You could tell that she was going through something. And once again, she didn't tell anyone. She didn't tell her friends, she didn't tell her family, because she was so scared of being judged by people. Because the last thing she wanted to hear is blames, you know, or why are you staying? You should go, this, that. That's not what she wanted to hear. She wanted to be helped, but in a different way, not just blaming. When you want to help people, don't blame them, I'm telling you, because people are just gonna shell on themselves. They will not open up. So once again, even if it's for their well-being, pushing people is not always the solution. Most of the time it doesn't work, because the same people who are like blaming and pushing are the same people they wouldn't like the others to react like that with them. So be mindful, be kind, be understanding, try to understand why is that person going through this or that. Don't be the one who's gonna be, oh my god, you're so stupid, like what's happening to you. This is not how you're gonna help somebody. Really try to understand why it's the person chosen that path and not the right one. Okay? Because at some point her health was degrading, and she started to talk to people, and she started to go to 2 different focus groups. I'm gonna put the links below about those 2 focus groups, because I think they are very important for people who need help getting out of a very toxic relationship. Those groups are based in New York, but I'm pretty sure if you do your research on Google, you can find groups in your area. So she started to be to the first group, and she met a woman who told her that she deserves better than that. She deserves way better than that. She deserves the best. She doesn't deserve to be treated this way. And this woman told her that she's been in that situation, in a marriage, for 30 years. It took her 30 years to get out of the situation. And she said she doesn't deserve to waste 30 years of her life trying to heal someone who doesn't want to heal himself. Because at the end of the day, she wasn't the problem. Never been the problem. The problem was him. She wanted to help, but he didn't want to help himself. So you cannot help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. So she started to understand, and she was making some moves in her life, and she joined the second group support because she felt that she needed more than that. And the real wake-up call, because she told me she had multiple wake-up calls, but the last one was the one. So she met a woman who was in an abusive marriage, once again, unfortunately. And this woman was pregnant from her husband, and one night he drove her. She was 9 months pregnant, and he kicked her out of the car, and he was beating her to death while she was 9 months pregnant, and left her on the side of the street and just left. And it was at night time. And when she delivered, she was alone. He wasn't there. But she was staying because she didn't want her kids to be without a father. I'm not here to make any judgment, but ladies, please, if the man is not good for you, or men, please, if the woman is not good for you, they're not gonna be good for your kids either. You don't need this type of sacrifice for your children. And trust me, you've been children yourself. You don't want to see your parents unhappy. So don't make this sacrifice on behalf of your children, because you're not doing that for your children. You're not helping them. Your children don't need to have toxic parents, seeing their parents in a toxic relationship, and they don't need to see their parents suffering. There is nothing more heartbreaking than seeing your mom hurt and in pain because of a father who is physically and mentally abusive. Please, 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 ladies, if you hear me, don't take your children as an excuse to stay in a toxic relationship. You'll be fine. You'll be way better without the man. Even if he's the one who puts the money on the table, you are stronger than that. You may be not aware, but you are way stronger than that. Back to the story. Even after this woman, after beating up almost to death, delivered alone, she was staying, as I said, in the relationship, and she quit when the youngest child was like a teenager. And Gwen was like, this is not the life that I want for myself. This is not the life that I want for myself. And this woman told her that she really has to take care of herself. She really has to take care of her body, her soul, her mind, her emotions, her heart, her brain, each part of herself. Because if she doesn't do it, no one's gonna do it for her. We have only one body. That's our first home. And if we don't take care of it, nobody's gonna do it for us. And this is how we're gonna leave that earth. My friend, thanks to the universe, had this wake-up call, this last one, and she was able to get herself away from that toxic man. She started to really take care of herself. She started to meditate a lot, to pray a lot, to think about her spirituality. She was taking care of herself. She was reading a lot about natural things. She started to do physical activities like dance and other activities, and that's how I met her. And she understood the benefits of taking care of herself. I think nowadays she's one of the person, she's the girl, every time I have something, a physical pain, I always refer to her because she knows. Like, she knows the plants, the oil, the food. She knows everything about health. She's just like super amazing. And other experience in her lifetime, but she had to go through that to really understand that she's her best friend. And if she doesn't take care of herself, nobody's gonna do that for her. So once again, and my beautiful people, take very care of yourself. This is so important. So important. Don't wait, don't expect anybody to take care of you. You are your own guardian. You are the only one responsible for your own happiness. Anything else, anybody else gonna be a plus to your happiness. But the very first person who is supposed to make you happy is yourself. The very first person who is supposed to keep you healthy and alive as an adult age, of course, is yourself. So if you're losing yourself in the name of love and you're sacrificing yourself trying to save somebody who is in pain and who doesn't want to be helped, you're losing it. You're losing yourself. And this is not what you want for you. You want the best for you. And I'm super happy that my friend Gwen, she found deep inside her some love, some inner love, some self-love, some self-confidence to go through that very painful episode of her life. Now she's glowing, she's happy, she's gorgeous, she's amazing. She doesn't even look like her age. She looks way younger because she takes very good care of herself. And she doesn't let anybody interfering her peace or her happiness anymore. So this is my advice for today. Take care of yourself. That's all I can say. I think that's gonna be my advice every day. And don't forget, you are your best friend. You are your worst enemy. Don't let anybody drag you to a place you don't want to be at. Being hurt, being sad, being depressed is not worth it. Could be a lesson, of course, but you want to be in peace, you want to be serene, you want to be happy, and that's what is the most important. And once again, through the art, through creativity, you can do it. You have to take care of your body, so you can have any type of physical activity. Me, with my program, I would suggest you to dance, of course, because to me, dance is just the best to connect your body, your mind, your soul, your emotions, dance and body movement. Because when you dance, you have the workout and you have the artistic side as well. And your body works, your brain works, your emotion works as well. And you work on your physical memory, your mental memory, your emotional memory. Dance to me is the best. To feel better, you also need to know what to eat and how to eat and how to cook. This is very important. Eating outside is cool, but you have to know what do they put on your plate, You need to take care of your emotions. You need to find inner peace. You need to find self-love. Before finding the love of your life, find self-love, self-esteem. And the way you look, I'm not saying you have to look beautiful or gorgeous, but the way you look at yourself is going to help you appreciating your temple, meaning your body. No need to look the best. It's not about looking beautiful, it's about being healthy. And being healthy, our bodies the proof that we are healthy or not. You have to take care of your spirituality. You have to take care of your mental health. You have to take care of yourself in general. You have to take care of everything that is about you. You have to take care of your finances, because it's gonna be hard to take care of yourself with no money in the Western world, in a capitalist society. I'm just saying. So that's all for me for today. I hope this story, this experience that I shared is going to talk to you, that is going to resonate. And once again, if you know some people who are in need, who need help about getting away from a toxic relationship, please share them this story, share them this podcast. This is very important. We have to help each other. Let's not be like, oh, I'm minding my own business. Sometimes people, they need you much more than you think. And there are so many ways to help. You don't have to support people, anybody financially, but just being like, oh, I know you're going through something. This reminded me of your situation. I hope it's gonna help you. Or just being like, hey, how are you? I'm just checking on you today. Very important. So I see you next week for the 4th episode. In the meantime, I wish you a beautiful week. Take care of yourself. Hydrate yourself, very important. Be something that you love every day, even if it's just like 5 minutes per day, is better than nothing. Sending you a lot of love, a lot of blessing. Take care of yourself. Bye.